One of the most devastating things I faced once I finished my university and I was ready to take on the world, start making some real money and travel the world because, I'd be rich, is finding out that I've been lied to. Yeah. When you're 7 years old, they tell you Santa isn't really real. And when you're 26 years old, they tell you that all those nights surviving on Red Bull and pasta with Philadelphia cheese and canned tuna will not get you the life you want. Because, Missy, there is a real world out there and it does not care about your degree. And that's exactly what Andy is experiencing. She is freshly graduated and she is ready to start her journalism career. And then she's smacked across the face with no job opportunities. Well, almost none. She does have two options. One option is working for an AutoMoto magazine, something like that. And the other one is working for Runway, a fashion magazine. And sure, Andy is a woman, but she's not that kind of woman.
You have no style or sense of fashion.
But it's the better of the two evil, and how hard can fashion be? Like, Andy is a smart girl. She knows that, well, what you need in the real world is connections, is experience. So the plan is simple. She's gonna work here for a year. She's gonna do the ping, ping, pum, pum, pam, pam, meet the people she needs to meet. And then she's gonna dip out.
Can't let Miranda get to me. I won't.
She's not gonna become one of them. She likes having mustache. Look, this is nothing new. Many of us faced the same thing. You study one thing, you work at another, you burn out, you quit, and then you try social media. I call it the millennial strategy. Now, Andy goes to this interview and in this whole world with a very specific attitude, maybe even a little hint of entitlement. She sees herself as different than them. She is not shallow. She doesn't care about fashion like that. When she doesn't know who Miranda Priestley is, she's focused on what really matters.
I learn fast and I will work very hard.
I've got the exclusive on the
Now, a little problem when you do something that you don't really want to do, but you have to, and you maybe even look at it with a little bit of, I'm better than you type of thing. I'm just here because I have to be, but this is not my life, okay? It's that kind of attitude can actually become a trap you kind of set yourself in. And Andy will also get that wake-up call. Just that this slap will come from someone who has been in the real world, who has succeeded in the real world, who had to do what has to be done to be where they want to be or are worthy of being. That was too much, huh?
Not to mention a legend.
But also, luckily for Andy, someone who is kind of sick of the brain versus beauty agenda. Like, people, can we have some smart, educated, capable women that are also attractive, huh?
Am I reaching for the stars here? Not really.
Miranda Priestley is the editor-in-chief of the Runway magazine, and she has no patience for incompetence or entitlement from other people. She herself can be quite entitled because, Biz, she earned it. And if Andy thinks that she is better than fashion, that she is better than this place, well, she is in for a treat.
Something funny?
You see, in this world, Miranda is the queen everyone needs to please. She's not your typical, we love people or we care for people, HR coded boss. She be different. She is demanding. She is focused. She is rude.
No. That wasn't a question.
It only takes one look from Miranda and it can break or make your career. That's the thing though. Even though Andy is not of this world, she has eyes, she has brains, and she cannot ignore that Miranda is a successful woman in a brutal world. Yes, she is harsh, bordering on psycho, but she is respected / feared, details. But at the end of the day, she is on top of her game. And Andy be taking notes. Now, Andy lives with her boyfriend, Nate, who he himself is trying to make it in the culinary world. And hopefully, he is watching the Culinary Wars. Love that show. Now, when it comes to Nate, our Nate, the vibes are kind of mixed. I'm going to be honest. So here's the thing. They are this typical couple that are living a simple life post-graduation, and they are just, trying to find their ways. And he is supportive of Andy, but he also, on some, now and then, a little douchiness peeks through. Like, what do you mean this is your reaction when your girlfriend gets a job at a fashion magazine?
What is it, a phone interview?
Wow.
Me no like it. They also have two friends, Lily and Doug, and again, the vibe is the same. They're all just trying to make it in the real world and probably bonding over, being clueless about how to do it. Except for Doug.
Lucky for me, I already have my dream job.
Doug is really happy being a corporate analyst, so, he been doing it.
Oh, you're right, my job sucks.
Doug is also the only one who is actually impressed by his friend Andy working for the Miranda Priestley. Like, what do you mean?
I'm actually a girl.
Barely surviving in the Big Apple. Andy also gets a little help from her father, chip in for the rent. It's difficult times, so Gen X needs to help. Gen X also doesn't understand that times are different. Oh, it's not anymore, I just graduate and now I get a director's position because there are so little people who actually have a degree. No. Today, everyone is born and they already have a degree. Kinda. Now we want to be the YouTubers.
We're just a little worried, honey.
Andy's dad is a bit confused, okay? He doesn't really understand what is going on. Like, first of all, his little girl was going to a law school. Then she decided to be a journalist, which, he had to swallow, and he needs to support the dreams of his offspring. But right now, telling him that she is working as an assistant in a fashion magazine, not what he was expecting. And as any child who tries to do something different and basically hopes that it will happen, Andy is reassuring. It's just temporary, and this is the path to actual success.
I swear, this is my break.
But what happens when Andy starts to change a little bit? When people around her are looking at her and they're like, Missy, you need to calm down. You need to sit down. You need to take some chocolate. It's time for Andy to start this, little job. Be here for a year and then go do real stuff. The problem is that this world, not so simple. Not so simple. There are rules you need to follow if you want to be a part of the Runway family. No flats, no carbs, no excuses, and the customer, Miranda, is always right. And as any new employee, first-time employee even, Andy is thrown in at the deep end. It's just like we pushed you in and then you need to learn how to swim. She is asked to do things she is clueless about.
Can you please spell Gabbana?
And the opposite of what she's been taught in school, there are no stupid questions. Asking a question to Miranda is the most stupid thing you could ever do.
Please bore someone else with your questions.
And don't get it twisted. Andy wants to be good at her job. The problem is that her freaking boss is unreasonable. Like, what do you mean you want me to find a pilot who is ready to risk their life so they can get you from Chicago to New York? Like, should I birth one right now? It's clear, though, that at Runway, there are no HR surveys on how do we make this the best place to work. Because no matter how unreasonable things are, no matter how abusive everything is feeling, this is an opportunity.
A million girls would kill for this job.
A million girls would kill for that job.
A million girls would kill for that job.
Every time Andy is looking around and she's a little bit confused because multiple people here should go to therapy, she is shut down with the same freaking thing. A million other people would die to work here. So zip it. Zip it. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard in my journey, my career development, the same old thing. This is how it's done. This is how things are. Just accept it and move on. And you know what's the problem with it? The problem is that they tell you something at the beginning, like, for example, oh, you are hired because you showed willingness to challenge the status quo. And we need those kind of people. And then you try to challenge it and it's like, sit down. We do things the way we do them. I've said it so many times. I've been out of the corporate world for some time now, but people would be much happier at work if they wouldn't be promised something at the beginning or praised for certain things, the same things that then later on are kind of like, shut down. Tell me what I'm in for and then I can prepare. Well, clearly I need some chocolate. Nate also notices how much this job is actually taking from Andy. But every time he tries to talk to her about it, it's kind of useless because Andy doesn't really have any other choice. She has no choice when she needs to ditch her dad or when she needs to miss Nate's birthday to be there for Miranda.
I didn't have a choice.
A lot of times it does feel like we don't have a choice. But there's something that I kind of realize myself. Having no choice, it's also the easy way out. If you don't have a choice, then it's not you who is choosing work over others. You're just doing what you have to do. And with that, you don't have to actually question if it's worth it. Again, there are situations that, you need to put food on the table, but it can also make us stop looking for other solutions. And Andy is still kind of failing. No matter how hard she tries, nothing seems to be good enough. If she does something right, then it's like, oh, does a little girl need a honey sticker for her good work? But if she does something wrong,
I said to myself, take a chance. Hire the smart fat girl. Stupid.
Miranda also needs to take some chocolate and calm down. Now, what do we do when we feel like we're reaching our limit? When we're kind of frustrated with how things are going, the injustice, the unfairness, the way people are acting at this workplace? Well, we go for a little office gossip. And that's exactly what Andy is expecting when she goes to Nigel. Just a little, we hate our boss therapy session. The problem is that Nigel, he's not offering the bonding she was hoping for.
Do you want me to say poor you? Miranda's picking on you.
That's the worst one. When you feel like you're going to talk to a colleague and you'll have, we're in this together kind of session, and then they hit you with, I have to go to a meeting. Piss what? Now I'm exposed and alone in this? Should I just start digging myself? To Nigel, a little kid in the closet, reading Runway with his little flashlight under the covers, hiding from his macho brothers. It's what helped him survive when he felt alone and different.
And what's worse, you don't care.
And now he's looking at someone who doesn't even get how important this magazine is for many people out there. She's just standing here freaking complaining.
Be serious. You are not trying.
Did she offer her firstborn to get that private jet? Did she? Andy is, okay, not the right person. We've all been through it, Andy. We've all tried to talk to someone we shouldn't, okay? He tells Andy exactly how he sees it. You are not appreciative of this opportunity because you think you are better than this.
Wake up, sweetheart.
And Andy, what? He is right. Right?
Okay, so I'm screwing it up.
Andy, first of all, feels guilty because, here in front of her is a man who literally says that his life was worth living because of magazine, and that's a true experience. And at the same time, she knows how she's looking at this whole world. She knows how she entered it with a certain level of, entitlement. Like, I'm better than this. I'm going to do real things after this. So it's easy for her to then totally internalize that it is her problem. Even though the workplace is toxic as fuck. And that's the tricky thing with people, or let's say systems, that know how to manipulate things, that know how to make you feel guilty or find something that you feel already guilty about. So then you internalize the whole problem as you, rather than questioning them or questioning the system. You know, like, let's say in a relationship, someone is treating you badly, but you also know that you are not very good at expressing your needs and your wants, right? So when shit goes down, that person can say, well, you know what? It's your problem because you never tell me that this is something that bothers you. And because you do feel that that is a problem you have, suddenly you totally stop questioning how they are still being an asshole to you. With this new attitude, though, Andy accepting that she is, in fact, the problem, Nigel is ready to help her come a step closer to becoming Andrea, which, side note, is actually Andy's real name. Andy is just a nickname that her friends and family call her. It's out with the blue sweater and in with the cool girl look. And Miranda sees it. This woman is not anymore just the new Emily.
And Andrea, I would like you to deliver the book.
Though again, let's not get it twisted. Andy didn't just upgrade her style. She is genuinely learning things at this workplace. She's learning how to handle pressure. She's learning how to think out of the box, how to be resourceful. She's learning how to be more confident and how to walk into a room and command attention. Andy is gaining skills that will actually help her have a better life, right? In some way or the other, right? She's just freshly graduated. This is her first job experience. And any woman went through this phase when you kind of grow up, right? When you kind of are exposed to things that make you build confidence, make you build trust in yourself. And okay, it might sound a little bit cheesy, but almost kind of like become a woman, right? In her own right. Entering the world and then learning how to actually own your place in it. Even her man, Nate, appreciates the new look. Though the more time is passing and Andy is more and more consumed by this work, the more he's worried if he's actually losing also Andy herself. But Andy is reassuring. This is just a part of the game. This is just what she needs to do to get to what they both want. Her success.
Hey, Mandy. Better clothes.
I like the old clothes.
Now, Nate could be wrong, right? Maybe he liked her better when she was kind of smaller, you know, more like him, where they can bond over how we are struggling in this and how we are against the fashion people, I guess.
What happened? Now you've become one of them.
Her friends could be wrong when they're kind of like, you know, looking at their friend and being like, oh. Or maybe he sees something that she can't really see right now because she's so caught up in it. And that's the thing that is the most difficult for each one of us, right? When you're trying to succeed, when you're learning, what does that even mean? When you're learning about how people move in the world, how do you actually recognize, I'm just trying to figure out how to, you know, succeed in this versus I am now completely losing myself. Because if we look a little bit deeper, despite all the good that Andy learned, she's also learning things that are not in her best interest. She is losing a sense of agency when she sees everything as not being her choice, and she needs to be grateful for whatever comes her way. But also, she's starting to justify an abusive system.
Miranda were a man, no one would notice anything about her except how great she is at her job.
And that's when I'm like, let's sit down, shall we? I am not denying that women do have it differently when it comes to trying to grow their career. That's my experience. And if you have a different experience, good for you, continue. But usually women are judged differently. Women are held to a different standard. And honestly, I'm already hearing some people saying, no, at my work, a woman was hired only because she's really, was she really hired? Or let's say it like this. Let's say that she was at the same level as a man, but because she's a woman, she was hired. let's say the company is trying to increase their share of women in the company in leadership positions. Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? How many years have women not have the chance? Why is that not a part of the discussion? But coming back to the situation of how Andy is justifying Miranda's behavior because she's a woman, the value isn't anymore, do we have equal opportunities, differences, why do we have differences as genders and so on? The value now becomes abuse versus healthy environment versus well-being. I think it becomes very dangerous when people look at, let's say, someone like Miranda and then justify her behavior because she is a woman. And now suddenly that's queening. No. Both are wrong. Man acting like that and woman acting like that. Wrong. But despite Miranda and this job taking a huge chunk of Andy's life and even who she is, there is a sense of Andy still trying to keep the line, still trying to prioritize what actually matters to her in her life. So Nate has a birthday, but Andy is called in last minute and she needs to be there for Miranda. When the job is finally over, the part that she doesn't, quote, have a choice, she gets an opportunity to stay a little longer and potentially meet some people who would help her with her career. She decides to go home.
I'm sorry, but I have to go.
All right.
If I would feel that my partner is pursuing career and job, and yes, we agree that this should be just a year, but like months are passing, and what I'm noticing is that this person is spending less and less time with me. They are totally changing. They prioritize this job and this boss over everything. Oh, and then they miss my birthday. I would have a problem. I wouldn't feel good about it. I would be like, okay, now I need to start thinking about what is good here for me. So I appreciated that they did show how Andy is still trying not to completely lose herself. But sometimes when things go a little bit far, people around you can start to get tired and can start to doubt if they're even a part of your life anymore. I do want to say, I didn't really like that he also didn't actually express himself and talk about it.
You look really pretty.
If Andy starts to feel like people around her don't understand her, she could start feeling better by the people in the new world, in this case, who are giving her praise for acting the way she does.
Andrea, don't forget to tell Emily.
Though Nate is not the only person Andy is hurting. Emily is a true believer.
I love my job.
And she is finally about to get her reward. She gets to go with Miranda to the Paris Fashion Week and get blessed with all the new in style outfits that will enrich her life.
You look so thin.
Do I? Oh, it's for Paris.
But the more Andy is becoming a better and better and better assistant and basically pleasing Miranda, while Emily is kind of, disappointing. Like, what do you mean you get sick and you can't properly do your job? Andy is now the one who is offered the great opportunity of going to Paris Fashion Week and meet the right people.
I need the best possible team with me. That no longer includes Emily.
Emily seems to be regressing in her position. She is back to being the one who needs to run in New York City with tens of bags trying to please Miranda and her impossible tasks until she gets hit by a car. And just like that, Emily is out and Andy is offered the position. Wait, that sounds like Emily died. Emily didn't die. Emily just got some broken legs or wrists. I don't know. She's in a cast, but alive. And she can eat carbs. Now, despite Emily clearly not being able to go to the Paris Fashion Week and maybe focus on recovering, she is not happy with how Andy is just taking over her position, her rightfully earned position.
I didn't have a choice.
Poor nice Andy, she doesn't have a choice.
That is a pathetic excuse.
Which honestly, not fair. Not fair. Like, what do you mean? You clearly cannot go. But at the same time, maybe that was a clever way of the movie showing how the system, even though it's promising you to reward you one day, it's also the system that doesn't have any understanding. If you get sick, if you have that in the family, if you get hit by a car, well, tough nuts. Is that an expression? I don't know what. Tough titty. I think you say tough titty, right? Emily was loyal to the system. The system was never loyal to Emily. It's also showing us how, in this case, Andy is benefiting from it, even though she wouldn't really want to benefit, right? She feels bad for Emily, but it is what it is. Kind of failing to see that Andy is only rewarded because her loyalty is now benefiting, in this case, Miranda. And then even sadder, let's say, is the fact that the problem starts happening between, in this case, two employees, right? Emily is seeing Andy as the problem because you are now benefiting from something that I was supposed to benefit from, right? But no one is actually questioning the upper people, right? The ones who are creating this kind of system. The thing is, for Andy, things are kind of looking good right now. I mean, at her work life, right? She's getting some opportunities. She's seeing some success. Miranda sees her, respects her. She is growing into her role. The private life, not so peachy.
I thought Paris was a big deal for Emily.
Great, now you're gonna give me a hard time too.
Again, is it fair? Not really, because again, Andy is, the second assistant, and if the first assistant is her, then she gets the position, right? But also this time, I think the point is showcasing how we get caught up in the system and we are a part of it, even though we think we are not.
I didn't have a choice, okay?
Not having a choice is the very way that the system catches you. But suddenly you are the one who is hurting other people. You are the one who is opportunistic and grabbing the opportunities that someone else should have, let's say. And they're showing Nate as someone who is maybe recognizing that. Hey, do you really want to be a part of this?
The person whose calls you always take, that's the relationship you're in. I hope you two are very happy together.
In this world, though, this is nothing new. Andy saw firsthand how Miranda is basically heading to her third divorce simply because some people just can't handle it. And well, she'll be the villain.
Snow Queen drives away another Mr. Priestley.
Now, sometimes no one can handle me. People can't handle my success. Could be true, right? Maybe some people are just not comfortable with you actually being successful. But sometimes it is also, a story we tell ourselves. So we don't have to look at how we're actually treating the people around us because we got some sense of success. By the time Andy leaves for Paris with Miranda, she is single. And also her friends, Lily and Doug, not really fond. Or at least Lily wasn't. Sure, they were happy about little perks that she brought, but at the same time, keep the perks if you're gonna change as a person. Like, how is Lily supposed to react when she knows that her and Nate have a little bit of a rocky situation and they be missing things, and then she sees her flirting with a new guy, the guy from this new world? Not cool. Not cool at all.
The Andy I know is madly in love with Nate.
And yes, Lily would be a better friend if she would pull Andy aside and be like, hey girl, it feels a little bit weird. What's happening? But that's the thing. Maybe she outgrew them and she just needs to move on and find new people in her life. And for a moment, being in Paris, it does feel like that. It feels like she's starting a new life. She is growing her career and she is hooking up with the cute guy. Christian is charming, good looking. He's been kind of flirting with her since they met. He helped her with the impossible task of finding the latest manuscript of Harry Potter for Miranda's little twins. And yes, Andy should have seen that maybe he'd be a little bit of a player.
The stupid boyfriend, I'd have to whisk you away right here and now.
But at the same time, I mean, why not just have a little bit of fun? She's single, she's in Paris, and maybe this is her new life. Nigel, the original cult member of Runway, the man who stood by Miranda since I don't know how long, is also finally getting his reward. After years of loyalty, Miranda is finally giving him the promotion he's been waiting for.
For the first time in 18 years, I'm going to be able to call the shots in my own life. Oh my God!
Does it not look like the system freaking works? You sacrifice, you are loyal, you work hard, and voila, things actually become better. Not so fast though, because Andy is about to get a first seat look at what happens when the person in power gets threatened. Miranda finds out that one of her arch enemies is coming after her position, and she makes a move. The promotion Nigel was supposed to get, suddenly gets offered to this enemy. How would she come after Miranda's job when she's offered this great new opportunity? Checkmate. So I guess even if you're loyal to the system, in this case, even though Nigel is the one who is loyal to Miranda, she just might give the reward to her enemy if it means that it's protecting herself.
When the time is right, she'll pay me back.
You sure about that?
No, but I hope for the best. I have to.
Now, this situation is making Andy a little bit nervous. Okay, she's looking around and she's like, what? I'm confused. And when she tries to kind of ask Miranda about what was that all about and how could she do so dirty to Nigel, well, what Andy doesn't understand is that Miranda had to do it. She has no choice.
Truth is, there is no one that can do what I do.
It is her responsibility to stay in this position. And it's the responsibility that Andy will one day have herself. Because Miranda sees a lot of herself in Andy. Andy is sitting in the car driving with Miranda and she's like, no, hell to the T to the no. You think that I'm like you? Stop the cab. Andy is not like Miranda and she does not want what she has, being ruthless and alone. Now, I want to pause here because I think this is a lot of messaging that we need to be careful. Because this movie is so popular amongst, let's say, women, and young women, if you're looking at it with a little bit of a critical eye, why are we presenting women in power as evil and ruthless and, not good, right? Now, how the movie is kind of trying to compensate this message is that it also shows glimpses of Miranda and humanizing her and trying to show her as someone who actually is helping Andy, and this is just the game. When Andy, spoiler alert, let's say, quits her job, Miranda is almost proud of it, right? Almost showcasing that, yeah, that's actually what I wanted. I wanted you to blossom in world on your own. But it's also kind of limiting on, are we talking about narcissism when they put you through hell and then they even frame it as it was good for you? I think that was like also a little bit like, You're trying to compensate for the successful woman be evil, but then on the other hand, you're also kind of romanticizing abuse. No, not the vibe. Let's shut it down. But, and I'm gonna go into a little bit of a conspiracy land, how do you think it impacts us, little people, and our desire to succeed if we see that the only people who are successful are also bad people? What if that then makes you not even want to pursue it? Because it's kind of like, well, I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be opportunistic. I don't want to be ruthless. Just a little food for thought. Let me know in the comments below. What do you see? But what Andy is going to show us and what Andy is learning is that is not the only way. Andy decides to quit her job with Miranda. And you know how it is when you're ending relationship with toxic people? You do not even need to explain it. You just go your merry way and you leave the person behind. And this is what I see the moment of Andy truly becoming Andrea. When she did grow in the way she needed to grow, acquiring certain skills, acquiring certain confidence, even connections. But at the end of the day, she stayed true to her values and her individuality. She became the woman she needs to be to succeed. Remember how Andy was taught that saying no to Miranda is going to be a career suicide? Well, she does say no to her, but she still gets a job as a journalist.
Must have done something right.
Now, the movie makes it a little bit vague, right? Because I think they were trying to not villainize Miranda. They were trying to kind of walk a line where we don't really take a decision. So they show this guy being kind of like, what do you have this blip here in your resume, working for Miranda? But then also at the same time, how Miranda sent in a letter and saying that, you know, he would be dumb if he wouldn't hire Andy. So it's again like, okay, which one is it, right? Is it about the connections and so on? Or is it about, you know, follow your dream or follow your values and being who you are? And I think that is almost like also the point. There is a real world out there. There are real systems out there, right? There are paths that you need to sometimes take in order to grow, in order to learn and understand. But that's not all. People who actually really succeeded in life and live a happy and a life of well-being, and even people who all of us kind of admire in some way, are people who at the end did it differently. At the end, stayed true to what they thought was the right way and pushed in that sense. Now, were some of those people ruthless and opportunistic and so on? Yes, they were. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way. Or if it does mean that that's the only way, then it's time to make some changes. Then it's time to make room for things to also be done in a different way. And that will only happen if we learn how to be in the system, but also stay true to being good to ourselves and being good to other people. But let me know in the comments below what this movie meant for you, Andy's journey of becoming Andrea, and what was your journey like? You already know about me. I tried it and then I realized not for me, and now I'm trying a different journey. And as always, trust your individuality and connect authentically. Pa, pa, pa. Good. And my banana bread is baked. I'm serious. I made banana bread this last hour.